see what's next. A new generation of gaming is upon us. With home consoles such as Sony's PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X set to release in late 2020, developers are preparing to change the way we play forever. We see companies like Google Stadia continuing to push the boundaries of cloud gaming technology, while studios like Epic Games are beginning to show us what a new generation of engines will be capable of delivering. The Future Game Show has caught up with some of the world's leading developers in fields including graphics, audio, storytelling, and machine learning to discover how the next generation of hardware will push video games in a way that we have never experienced before.
The way that I see game worlds changing in the next generation is with a bigger focus on player interaction and making the worlds feel truly alive. We can already make game worlds that are almost too big for the amount of content that we put in them. So, of course, graphics will take a huge leap forward, but it's the complexity, diversity, and the freedom to play around in them that I think will be the biggest leap.
The new technology that really excites me is using machine learning, both to make the game feel a lot more responsive and meaningful to the player, and to augment my abilities as a game developer. The way that I see video games evolving in the next generation is with richer game interactivity. We've seen graphics fidelity just explode over the last 20 years. Games can look so good these days, it's crazy. But the sorts of things you can do in video games have not really caught up. What I'm super interested in is solving problems that help game worlds and the characters in them play and feel as alive as they can now look. The next generation of tools and technology should allow a game to really acknowledge the emergent, creative things you can do as a player, and to help game developers create richer, more soulful game worlds. I'm really excited about using technologies like Semantic ML to help game characters feel more responsive and alive, to get the game to create content not just randomly, but based on the kinds of things you've done as a player so far.
One way that game worlds might feel more alive in the future is by replacing scripted interactions with organic conversations. This live demo from Russian AI project LiveMind literally puts words into Geralt's mouth and could be a sign of things to come.
Do you remember Beckenwood Derby?
Yes, I won a great saddle for racing then.
Of course, it isn't just game worlds that will evolve in the next generation, but the types of stories being told within them too. Narrative is such an important component to the games we play, furthering our connection with virtual spaces and the characters that inhabit them. It makes sense then that this is one area developers are eager to evolve.
I wrote my first game for a computer with 1K on cassette. Obviously, 40 years later, so much has changed. But in some ways, we're still pursuing the same goal.
The biggest benefit of games as a storytelling medium is the interaction, but often we still tell the stories at the players instead of truly letting them be a part of it.
The future of interactive storytelling should be about how we can make the experience as frictionless as possible.
Really making the player feel like they are actually part of the story. Tailored experiences that they can do not only by themselves but also with friends at home or online.
I'm also hoping to see storytelling explore more collaborative efforts, telling stories to larger groups of players at once without telling each of them that only they are the chosen one.
When we start thinking to ourselves, is traversal what should be at the heart of every storytelling experience in AAA? Can we make it more about the internal conflicts rather than those external conflicts of running, jumping, and shooting?
Movies never have to cut away to load the next scene or more assets. If there's a cut to black, it's only because the director wanted that cut in that exact moment. And storytelling goes well beyond just the words being said. It's the audio, and the camera shot, and effects, and the location. Now with characters and the world looking more real than ever, less downtime due to loading, and more feedback from our controllers, we'll hopefully see larger or more immersive scenes that won't need to let up just because the hardware requires it.
A new generation of hardware means we are about to encounter a new frontier for graphical fidelity and visual effects. That's a given. But what about game audio? Sony and Microsoft are putting more emphasis than ever before on audio, and in the way that sound can draw us in game worlds like never before, could our sense of immersion in virtual spaces be about to change entirely?
In the next generation, audio will definitely be recorded and expressed in a much bigger sense. We're already starting to see hints of it already. Technologies such as ambisonics and ambisonics are being rediscovered, and people are starting to think in different ways of how we could even push the boundaries even further.
So one of the things that's so exciting about the next-gen audio is that it's promising just a whole new level of immersion. Obviously, the PS5 3D audio is kind of the most outspoken example of this. And so with that new immersion, hopefully is going to come whole new levels of player engagement.
This is something that's very special about sound and music, is that it really gets to, it accesses the core of who we are, and the fact that we have 3D audio will enhance that in a much grander sense.
Of course, some of the biggest changes to play you won't be able to see, from smaller teams being given the tools to more easily achieve their creative ambitions, the expansion of services such as cross-platform play and cloud gaming, to a huge reduction in load times and install sizes. Here's just some of the reasons developers are excited about the changes on the near horizon.
Playing games in the next generation should feel more social than ever, with all the online services bound to get a refresh. I definitely feel like the next generation will have more opportunities to play together when we can't be together.
I think the future of mobile gaming is really about two things. The first is about ubiquity. The second part of mobile gaming in the future will be about sociability. People are going to play games in a more and more social manner, and it'll be strange in the future if you find someone that's actually playing a game purely solo and never plays any game with other people.
Crossplay is becoming more widely accepted and implemented, and that means you shouldn't have to coordinate what SKU you're getting with your friends, what version they're getting, what platform they're on. You should be able to seamlessly play together, which is amazing.
Almost zero load times, cross-platform ownerships of games, cross-platform cloud saves, and just overall the focus on the player's experience rather than the platform itself.
The next generation of hardware should allow smaller teams to create products of a higher graphical fidelity.
Is the developers will have this extraordinary opportunity to create really rich, diverse worlds at very, very high resolution. And we'll be able to come to rely on game engines to do so much of what we couldn't do before in terms of complex lip syncing, facial expression, complex animation. What this will do is it'll level the playing field for developers. And developers who previously couldn't have competed at the high end will be able to do so. It's a really exciting time.